by Colin Matiza. Warriors coach Sunday Chidzamwa led the tributes yesterday as Zimbabwe football was plunged into mourning again after the death of one of the greatest players to emerge from this country, the legendary Shadrack Gwenya, who leaves a legacy of excellence on the pitch. Shadrack Gwenya, one of the most famous Dynamo's sons, was among the first few players from this country to ply the trade in South Africa during the country's pre-independence era in the late 1970s. According to one of his two daughters' memory, Gwenya died peacefully yesterday morning at his Netbazinduna Center home in Bulawayo at the age of 70. Chidzamwa, who played alongside Gwenya when the Warriors gaffer joined Dynamos from Chibuku Ushumba in 1977, yesterday described the former tough centre-back as one of the best players he ever rubbed shoulders with at both club and national team level. In fact, when I joined Dynamos at the beginning of the 1977 season, it was Shadrack Gwenya who took me under his wing and taught me how to play as a real centre-back. I was a very quiet and reserved person, but Shadrack taught me how to talk and bark instructions on the pitch, and apart from playing together at Dynamos for 2 years, I also partnered him at the heart of the senior national team's defense when we played South Africa's Springboks in 1977. I played with him in the national team for 2 years, Chidzamwa said. Revered soccer commentator Charles CNN Mabaka described Gwenya as a gentleman on and off the field, who I would put in the class of good defenders like Stephen Farker Simbi Chimdsa, Sunday Chidzamwa, Douglas British, Mloyr, Ephraim Chawanda, Francis Shonhay and Alexander Maseko. I remember him featuring in an advert of a margarine brand, Stork Margarine, depicting how he would stick to a striker like margarine on a piece of bread. He was a very successful player who made history in 1976 by winning as a player coach the Bat Rose Bowl, the Castle Cup, the league title and the Southern Africa Club Championship, as well as leading Dynamos to the Chibuku Trophy semi-finals where they lost 21 to Zimbabwe Saints. No coach has ever achieved that feat, and it was unfortunate that he didn't have an opportunity with the national team as a coach, of which I think he deserved. I even nicknamed South Africa's SuperSport United's assistant coach Kaitano Tembo Gwenya because of the similarity in the type of play, Mabaka said. Former Dynamos captain Kaitano Tembo yesterday sent his condolence message to the Gwenya family following the death of his former mentor. He coached me briefly at Dodoma United when I was on loan from Super Beef. He was a humble person with a great personality. That's where I got my nickname Gwenya. Condolences to the Gwenya family. Go well, legend, Tembo said from his base in Pretoria, South Africa. Gwenya is best remembered by the older generation of Dynamos fans for helping the Harare Giants, who were then nicknamed Hainangotsi, to lift the Southern Africa Club Championship after beating one of South Africa's football powerhouses, Orlando Pirates, in 1976. During that year, Orlando Pirates were led by arguably the best player to emerge from South Africa during both the country's pre- and post-independence era, the legendary Crown Prince of Soweto, Jomo Sono. In an international showdown at a packed and rain-soaked Rufaro in 1976, Sono's Orlando Pirates were walloped 41 by Dynamos. Orlando's 2-goal advantage from the first leg was wiped out, enabling Dynamos to lift the Southern Africa Club Championship. Dynamos beat Orlando Pirates 76 on aggregate over 2 legs. They lost the first leg 35 in Johannesburg before winning the second leg 41 at Rufaro to be crowned the Kings of Southern Africa. So painful was the 41 defeat to a well-oiled Dynamos machine that Sono cried after the final whistle of a match which this reporter watched as a 10-year-old boy at Rufaro. Gwenya was also part of the talented Dynamos outfit that won the league title and almost all the domestic cup competitions, including the Castle Cup, in which they hammered Zimbabwe Saints 81 in the final. In 1976, a season in which he rubbed shoulders at the star-studded Hainangotsi side with the legendary George Mastermind Shaya, Shepherd Murape, Kuda Macheme, Shaw, Kojak Handriad, Simon Sakiti, Isaac Nhema, Oliver Flying Saucer Keita, David Firi, Charles Guartizzo, Bernard Chidziva, Ilario Nengari, Matthew Mwale, John Rivet, Cremio Mapfumo, Enoch Mujiba, Parker Miza, George Yo-Yo and David George. In fact, in 1976, Dynamos won 5 of 6 cup tournaments, losing to Zimbabwe Saints in the semi-finals of the Chibuku Trophy, scoring 67 goals in 19 cup fixtures over the season. And after the historic achievement of helping Dynamos to win the Southern Africa Club Championship, Gwenya was quickly scouted by one South Africa's top clubs, Moroka Swallows, who snapped him in May 1979 for his third professional stint down south. In fact, Gwenya, who was born in Bulawayo on July 23, 1947, in a family of 9, had a meteoric rise to stardom, making his first international debut barely a season in the Elite League in 1969. In 1969, Gwenya was part of the then Rhodesia national team that played Australia in a World Cup qualifier at Lourenço Marques, now Maputo in Mozambique. Racism in then Rhodesia was rife. When Gwenya and his teammates went to play teams like Salisbury Callies, they would not be allowed to go into the dressing rooms. Black players would go where equipment for the facility and things like whitewash were kept. But Gwenya's star continued to rise, taking him from Chibuku Shumba to Dynamos after he was recruited by the late Morrison Sifilani and then later on to Moroka Swallows before he hung up his boots in 1983 and went into coaching with relative success, getting Zimbabwean sides Metro Peach and Kidoma United into Division 1 in his first year with them in 1984 and 1985 respectively. As a coach, Gwenya also won the Natbrew Under-18 tournament in 1985 with Kidoma United, which had the likes of Stephen Shamuyarira, who played in the Premiership. He stayed up to 1998 in Kidoma and then returned home to Bulawayo, where he coached Prison TD from Division 2 to Division 1. At the time of his death, Gwenya was a widower with 2 daughters, Patience, who was 5 when he returned from Moroka Swallows, and Memory, who was born in Bulawayo in 1980. The Herald